Good evening, YouTube. This is MTP Flyers here with another unboxing. This has come from a YouTube reviewer as well as a company owner. You guys may know him formerly as That Snazzy iPhone Guy. He is now referred to as This iPhone Guy on YouTube. I'll go ahead and throw his information in the link on the right-hand side of the screen, and you guys can go ahead and check him out. I'll also throw the link to his website for his company. Give him a look, and we'll see what we got here. We'll see if this is something that we could go for. Now, I will tell you right off the bat, for those who do know his cases, they do not cover the chrome. That's not his style. It's not what he likes, and you know what? That's fine. That's no big deal. I have no problem with that. But you all know out there that that is definitely not my style. However, he has boasted this as being a very nice case for a great price. So those of you out there looking for very little protection, but you like that look, so you're not necessarily worried about the protection, this might be the case for you. So let's go ahead and get into it, and we'll see what we got here. And I shouldn't have said very little protection, because that's not necessarily the way I want to say it. I want to say just it's not as protective as other cases, but it does look good from what I've seen. So I told him, hey, send it out to me. I want to see what you got. And he thought I was joking, you know, and I said, no, I'm not, you know. If not me, someone who kind of busts your shoes all the time, who can you not send the product to give you an honest review? So, we do have a load in here, and let's see exactly what it says. I'm sure he's going to pick on me a little bit. Uh-oh, looks like the cases might be coming out with it too. So let's go ahead and we'll put those right there for the moment and let you guys take a look at that. And let's see here. Thank you so much for wanting us to review the products. No problem. We're so excited to show the products enclosed in this package. SnazTech Phantom. These look... Oh, he sent me the purple SnazTech. That's awesome. So, what we have here, guys, is the Phantom Frosted case. It does come in two colors. The Soft Touch... I'm sorry. The Arctic White and the Glacier Blue. This is the Glacier Blue. He knew I would like the blue color. He just knows that I like to have a little bit of snazz up the phone a little bit. So, and you know what, guys? Right off the bat, wow. That's not a cheap case, guys. That's got some balls to it. Pardon my French. I was just holding on to that. That thing don't move. So, hold on me 1 second here. Let me finish reading this real quick. No problem. I understand that. Just talking about, hey, clean your phone up before you put it in. You know, everything's clear. Just some nice tips these guys have for that. So, all right, awesome. You guys know that the SnazTech Epic does come in 6 different colors, and they also have them for the iPod Touch 2nd generation. So that's actually pretty cool. You guys notice here that they do have the logo on the back. Now this is something that has always bothered me with other cases. They have the hole in the center. Now that's fine. I don't know. That just, for me, that makes me feel like there's more places for dirt to get in. Yeah, you like to see the logo. Everybody knows it's an Apple. That doesn't really bother me that much. But this is actually nice to have that on there. Now what I would really love, Quinn, is if you guys would have a case like this that actually was more or less like a slider case that did all of that. That would actually be pretty cool. Now this also seems as firm as that. So you know what, guys? Look at that. He's actually cool enough to send out a screen guard as well. A screen shield. So that's actually pretty cool. So could always use screen shields. I appreciate that. Now, I gotta try these out. So, you know what? I had my phone upstairs, so let me go grab that, guys. I'm gonna clean it, and I will be right back. Okay, guys, I am back. I'm gonna have to go upstairs and grab my cleaner. As you see, I brought the blue tarp down because I took my phone out of my case, and I just want to go ahead and clean it here. Guys, I do use iClear. Get that at the Apple Store. I think you can get it online. I picked it up a while ago. It had a big container and a small one. I've only filled this up once since I've gotten it, so I guess you want to say I'm on my second fill of this. But I'm just going to go ahead and clean the back of the phone here just to get that set. I don't have any marks on this bad boy yet because I've pretty much kept it in a case the entire time. I did have a little, you can see that little, let me get the light on it, that little mark at the top. You see that right there? That's the only mark I've had, and I think that was on the phone when I got it, actually. So, oh well, what are you going to do? It's never going to be perfect. So, just try to be as protective as possible of it, and that's why I'm a little nervous about trying these cases out. But you know what? If I don't try them out, you guys aren't going to know exactly what's going on. So, alright, we went ahead and cleaned that up. So, what I'm interested in trying here today, guys, is the SNASTech Phantom. And like I said, there's just a little bit of... I think that's just from the packaging. That might be. So, very different feel on the inside. It's like it's, very grippy. But on the outside, you got a nice smooth, glazed over finish with that blue texture on it. So as like I said, you guys, you're not going to get any protection around your bezel. But hey, you know what? I know a lot of people that like the way that bezel looks. So let's go ahead and throw this in here. What I'll do is I'll put the full side in first, and you just go ahead and click that on. Now, like I said, you will see that the bezel is completely open. It does show what it's protecting in the back of your phone. And it does fit on there very snugly. Now, the only thing I'd be a little concerned about is it does cover a little bit of the chrome. Did I not? You know what, guys? I don't think I have this in all the way. Hold on. Let me go ahead and lift this up a little bit. I think it's sitting on the chrome, actually. And I want to make sure that that's on there all the way. That looked like it was higher on this side. You see how it's covering some of the chrome? And this side it's covering less. Hold on a second, guys. I'm a little nervous about just go ahead and pushing that. I want to lift it up a little bit and try to work it on there. To do that, I think it snagged the edge of my chrome. Ah, there it went. Did you hear that? So let me go ahead and just clean up the chrome a little bit from my greasy paws getting on there and doing that. So, alright, there we go. Now, it did fit on there nice. They had a little problem getting it over the chrome. I don't know if that was me or the design of it. I highly doubt it was the design. It's probably me. See, guys, I got a little bit of scratch on my chrome there. And I've been trying to keep that pretty darn clean. So, right off the bat, you can tell that you have a nice blue tint to your phone. Now, of course, Quinn told me to clean that up, and I am getting some watermarks on the back there. You see that if I push that up there, I do get a watermark. So let's go ahead and take this off real quick and clean it one more time to see exactly what we have, because I'll tell you what, it's certainly easier to get off than it is to get on. That doesn't sound right. Oh boy. Let's go ahead and give this a proper cleaning, guys. I want to make sure that there's no dirt on this and properly clean this. I want to move this out of the way a little bit here. Show you guys what I'm doing here. Just giving this a good cleaning. Take the wet side again, give it a little bit more. Take the dry side and just dry it down. And what I'm going to do in here is take the wet side and wipe that down. Take the dry side, dry it up as a matter of fact. Flip that over, and then we'll give it another go ahead. Alright, I just want to give this a fair shake, guys. I've was very hesitant with his other cases, and he was nice enough to send these out to me, so let's go ahead and take a look. Alright, everything seems to be clean on the back here, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to go ahead and slide this on this side here, and pick it up, and then we'll go on the other side. And I'm just a little nervous about sliding that over there. See, it did the same thing. Now, it did pop on. I did have a much better result putting that on. Let's just go ahead and clean the front off here. Let's take a look at the back, and I am getting watermark on the back there. You guys did see that I did clean that, but I am getting some watermarks on the bottom of that. Does that bother me? Yeah, it bothers me a little bit, but it just depends, I guess, sometimes on the case that you get. I have watermarks on the frame case, on the blue one, and after a while they started going away, so maybe these will go away. I'll try this out for a couple days. As much as it pains me to leave my bezel open, it's a very nice design on there. There's a pretty cool design there around your phone jack, your earphone jack, so it can fit everything in there. But it's a very minimal design. The cutout of the camera is almost perfect. It gives you enough. And your buttons are fully accessible because of the slim design on there. And the bottom, of course, is open. Now you can use your chargers in there or any of your battery, like your Richard Sola, without impeding any of the case on that, so you're actually good to go there. But like I said, very minimal design. It feels good in the hand as far as that goes. Of course, there is no lay on the table because of the design of the case. And like I said, you know, I'll go ahead and take this off and clean it again, guys. And for my review, I'll let you know what's going on. But for the meantime, I like the way that looks. That looks nice on the back. If I just get rid of those watermarks, it would look so much better. But let's go ahead and take this off, and let's try the SNASTech Epic. And just go ahead and slide that. Like that pops right off like that. And we'll go ahead real quick. Of course, I'm not worrying about time now. I know you guys just don't want a super long video. Now, I know he knows... Ooh, that's actually nice and shiny. Look at that. That's actually pretty cool. That looks so much like the Apple logo, it's not funny on there. Yeah, you guys know what I want to do. I just want to see how that holds up against scratching. It's actually pretty good. I don't know. Honestly, I think that might be a little bit better than the than the Apple on the back. I don't know. I'm always afraid. I don't want to necessarily scratch that to see if that's going to do that. But that's actually, you know, that's... I can't tell if that's a little flake on the side of that or not. No, that's just me. See that right there? I don't know what that is. Oh well. But that Apple's holding up pretty darn good. So, very nice. Nice and slick. Nice and... Now, see, now the inside feels different than the inside of this. I guess because of the clear that it is. But this is also a very sturdy case. Reminds me... You know, and it's funny. At first glance, when you look at it, reminds you a little bit of a vague design of the in-case slider. Obviously, without the front that covers everything up. But the same idea in putting this in here. You know what? Let me just go ahead and just clean that out real quick. There was no flashing in there. I did not see that in there. You know what? What is that right there? I don't know if that was from me doing that. I saw that after I wiped the rag into it. I do not know. We'll have to go to instant replay. No, I'm just kidding. That might be from the rag on there. I didn't see that in there at first. So, that's always good to clean your phone. And no matter what case you get, it's always good to give it a good spot real quick before you put that in. But this is more of the same thing. You take the one end and you just slide that in there. Now, this seemed to go on much easier than... You know what? I'm having the same problem over here. Look at that. I just have to push it on. You hear that click? I know that scared me a little bit there, but that completely changes the look of your phone. And the camera hole is close to lining up. I don't think it's going to affect taking your picture on there. It definitely isn't, but it's not lined up perfectly. But then again, it just might be the one case that you get. I don't know how perfect they all are, but you know what? I have plenty of cases that I paid a hell of a lot more money for that line up worse than that. So, what's nice about it is it looks like the back of an iPhone, right? I mean, obviously with the iPhone you have, I don't know, Quinn, would there be a way to offer on, you know, that might be killing it, but you know, the 32 gig and the 16 on that to do that, because I do have a 32 gig phone. That always bothered me about that, but you know, what are you going to do? You got to stock the stuff, so the idea of carrying 16 and 32 would drive you crazy because you might have a whole crap load of one and not the left, you know, back over. So, whatever the case may be. And I am spotting this phone up all over the place tonight. So anyway, guys, the idea of this case is the same thing as the Phantom, except that it is a solid color. It does give you the look of the back of an iPhone. So I'm going to tell you right now, I have had people say to me, "You got a blue iPhone? What's up with that?" Till I, you know, show them the front and everything. But you know what? This could really, you know, trick somebody into thinking that you got a purple iPhone because it looks the same on the back. You got the Apple logo on there, and it generally looks the same. The cutouts are very minimal to a very stylish but minimal bulk case. Feels good in the hands, and I'm sure both of these, you know, will come out of your pocket without a problem. That's not gonna, definitely not gonna impede your, you know, stop it from coming out of your pocket or anything like that at all. But I'm gonna go ahead and try both of these out. Quinn, I want to thank you very, very much for sending these to me. At first glance, you guys seen my initial reaction on these cases, and you just got to be careful putting them on as I first see. And like I said, minimal coverage, but you know what? That's the design. Not many people like to have the chrome covered up and not showing. That's the beauty of the iPhone. So, as much as I said I would not like these, they are nice looking. I'll try them out for a couple days, and I'll get back to you guys. So, this is MTP Flyers, and yes, I took this long because I know that I can talk all I want now. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate everything that you guys have done for me, all the support you've shown, and you guys have a great night. And for the unlimited case design, SNASTech Epic, and the Phantom case, this is MTP Flyers. Did I get that right? I don't want to mess it up. Yeah, the SNASTech Phantom and the SNASTech Epic. This is MTP Flyers saying you guys have a great night, and I will talk to you later. See ya!